Get ready for the smackdown. Get ready for the smackdown. How you gonna react when you're put in your back now? 'Cause there's no turning back when you're facing the smackdown.
Alright guys, I'm back. Next fight for Section 7. And are you guys ready for an old Western battle between two Western icons? And I do mean icons. I thought about this fight and I was like, what if these two Western icons met? And these two Western icons that I'm talking about are the Lone Ranger versus Jonah Hex. Yeah, so if you are a fan of Westerns like me, you'll enjoy this fight. But if you just like my fights, that's cool too. But I thought about this and I was like, let me do it. So let's kick it off, shall we? The Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger is an American icon. This guy pretty much first came around, I say, on radio around the 1940s or so. And his evolution has been from there up until now. Dynamite now owns the license to his comic and to his rights. And in 2006, Dynamite first did it, and they did a great job. I recommend people to read that series right there. His real name, now they've officially gave him a real name, a full name. His name is John Reed. And John was gunned down by a man known as Butch Cavendish, which his men gunned down him, his father, and his brother. However, John survived. He was able to dig himself out of his grave, and it was there in the Dynamite comic that Tonto found him, basically nursed him back to health, and the two teamed up and went on to fight crime and get revenge against the death of his family. It was there he got the name. He became the Lone Ranger in the comic. But other than that, he's always been, everything else is pretty much staying the same about him. For example, his weapon of choice is the Colt 45, and his bullets of choice is the silver bullet. Now, why does he use silver bullets? Well, he feels that silver bullets are precious. His life is precious, just like silver was in his time, and things like that. So he keeps that. That's why he uses it. But he's also good with other weapons as well. He also has a lot. His code of ethnics have stayed the same for over, I don't know how many years, 70 something years. Like, for example, some of his code of ethics are that a man should make the most of what equipment he has. Another one, in being prepared physically, mentally, and morally to fight when necessary for that which is right. He's pretty much like the Western version of Batman in a way. Just he has a little bit more code of ethics than Batman. He doesn't kill. He always disarms people. He never has taken a life before, and he cleans up the Wild Wild West as the Lone Ranger, and with his faithful companion, his brother, his so-called basically his blood brother, as he would say, Tonto. But that's the thing about Lone Ranger, and he will be back soon. Dynamite will be giving him another ongoing series, and but if you want to catch up on that series, I do recommend that the 2006 series. All right, so we're moving on to his combatant in this, and everybody should know this guy, DC, Jonah Hex. Yeah, Jonah Hex. let's get one thing straight about Jonah Hex. For all those who saw that movie, that is not his origin, okay? And let me educate a little bit of you on his origin. Jonah was born the only son of a man known as Woodson Hex. He was very abusive, drunk. His wife left him, and Woodson took Jonah and traveled west, California. From there, they ran into a group of Apache Native Americans. Woodson sold his son to the Apache for some fur petals. Can you believe that? Okay, basically there in the Apache tribe, that's where Jonah learnt his skills of tracking and fighting and things like that. He was educated the Apache way. Basically, he was a slave to them, but Jonah gained his freedom when he saved the chief of the village from being killed by a mountain lion. From there, he left the village. Before he left the village, he was set up by a chief rival of the village and thought he was dead. From there, he joined the Confederate Army, and from there he left the Confederate Army because he knew he wasn't really for that. And he went back to the village. He got into a battle with the chief rival that set him up. He killed him, and the Apache chief ruled it wrong because Apache's not supposed to kill another Apache. It was only a tomahawk battle, and they branded him with his mark, that mark his face. It's called the mark of the demon, and that's where Jonah became the bounty hunter we know now. That's pretty much a gist of his origin. His weapon of choice are the tomahawk, like I said, and the single action revolver. Jonah definitely has a very good sense of what he's doing in terms of skills, tracking skills. He learned pretty well from the Apache, and as a bounty hunter, he pretty much takes bounties on people. You especially know what a bounty hunter does, and he's still around to this day, and he's probably one of the most iconic Western comic characters, other than like the Lone Ranger. There aren't too many Western comics out now these days, but Jonah still is out there doing his thing. And so that's a little bit of his origin, guys. That's his true origin. You want to research more, go ahead, but that's pretty much what he is. But he's still a great character to begin with, okay? So, a battle between these two. Here's how I sum it up. The typical battle since these two are Western characters, there's no, not saying that they would not meet, or they couldn't occupy the same universe or time period. But the way I look at it is the typical, I don't know you, you don't know me, we misunderstanding, you get into a fight from there. But Western style. So we got guns blazing and things like that. The way I would sum it up also is probably come down to a good old one fashion duel, Now, if basically, like I told you guys, the Lone Ranger doesn't kill. He doesn't kill. He only disarms. But Jonah, on the other hand, well, we all know what Jonah probably would. But I think the two would have a lot of respect for each other. I think Jonah would kind of laugh at the Lone Ranger because he wears a mask in a way. But I definitely don't see who would win in this battle. I'll leave it up to you guys. Lone Ranger or Jonah Hex. And you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, especially for all those who love Westerns. And this is Mount Vernon Kid. I'll see you Thursday for the next two fights for Section 7. Battle. battle on.